Yeah.
Recording.
Hey everyone, welcome to week 2 of our 2B Mindset Success Group and live call. We're so glad you made it tonight. We're recording this for the friends that can't make it tonight live, and I know that some of them will catch the recording. So I am just blown away by our group. When Erin and I go into the group and see your trackers and see your comments and see your call to action comments on the main post. I mean, my mouth, I literally have to pick it up because I am just like stunned every single day with the results you're getting, with the way you're feeling, with the realization of how simple this is, with the realization of how like you can do this for the rest of your life and you never have to feel like you're restricting yourself. And that is the same feeling we got when we first started the 2B Mindset. And I am just so thankful that we were able to convey that to you and that you have been an advocate for yourself. That's the most important thing, is that you have gotten into your 2B Mindset website. You have set time aside each and every day to meet with Alana. I always say I'm meeting with my nutritionist for the day to go through those videos because those take time, but you guys are putting yourself at the top of the priority list. And when you do that, you're going to be able to take care of your loved ones so much better and with more energy and, you know, in a better mood. So kudos to you guys. I'm just so proud of you. So a couple celebrations that I wanted to, well, I kind of shared what I was going to share, but just how you're finding how simple the 2B Mindset is. Your energy is just through the roof with all that water and all those veggies. It's truly amazing when we feed our body with the food it's meant to have and not processed food. Like, your body responds and you feel amazing. And then some of you, your weight loss is just, it's awesome. It's awesome. And if you haven't lost like a ton of weight yet, that's totally normal. Because when I started the 2B Mindset, I am a very gradual loser of weight. So, you know, I would only lose like half a pound to a pound a week. But then when I kept doing it and I was consistent, it will start coming off. So I know some people lost like tons of weight from the get-go, and some people are just kind of slower. That's just our bodies. So keep it up. So the celebrations made an amazing veggie-based stir fry with cauliflower rice. It was amazing. Yum. I was able to leave the Doritos alone and chose to eat my hummus and veggies with water instead. That is huge, because I know I went live last night about how my mind thinks, and it even started happening today. My husband left for a 4-day trip for his job, and this afternoon I was by myself, and I was like, this is like my prime time to open that bag of chips and just indulge. And I walked away. I grabbed my water, I went outside, I distracted myself, and I was fine. But I don't know if that will ever go away. That's just part of me. It's part of us. But at least we have the tools now to distract ourselves. So just keep working at it. And it's okay if you're not perfect with it every day. Give yourself some grace. It's okay. And we will improve each and every day. So any other celebrations, Erin, that you wanted to share?
I want us to have a combo here. I want some of you guys to unmute yourself and share. I was a teacher for 14 years. I could call on you, all right? But I really want to hear some other people talk too, because I know that and it may not be pounds lost or something. I mean, it could be, but something else that you're like, wow, that was awesome. I'm so proud of myself that happened, or I did that. Anybody else have anything? Danielle, and then our Minnie shared. I don't know who that is, but that's what it says your name is on here. Anybody else have one? Anybody? Kristen, do you have one? I can unmute you.
Well, she just bought it. I invited her.
I think that's like actually a victory right there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Teresa, our Minnie. Well, there you go. Teresa has a lot of victories. I feel like she's already cleaned out her fridge and pantry and everything.
Oh, yeah.
What about Stacy? Do you have any victories? Anything positive to share? Let me unmute you. Okay, I muted you. Okay, tell us something good, girl.
I think the thing that I've noticed the most is I'm always thinking veggies.
Good. That's amazing.
Always, always, yeah, I'm always thinking about making sure I get the veggies first, like they're top of mind.
That's awesome. Doesn't that also kind of like distract you from the older thoughts too? You know what I mean? Like, okay, gotta make sure I have veggies ready, prepared, clean, whatever. It kind of distracts that old way of thinking too, maybe.
Right, it does.
Yeah.
And you can eat so many of them. You can eat, if you're a volume eater, you can really fill up on them.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for sharing. I think that's true. And that's a great insight that you have as well. I think that's really good.
I need to find the graphic with the two stomachs. If you eat the same amount of calories in veggies, it fills your whole stomach up. But if you eat the same amount of calories in like almonds, it fills like maybe a fourth of your stomach up. I need to find that graphic. I'm going to write that down to remind myself. So that's the point of veggies, is to fill up.
Absolutely. I think that's awesome. Okay. Oops. Stacy, I muted you. So now you can cough or whatever and nobody's going to hear you. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else have anything? I called Stacy out, so I appreciate that, girlfriend. Okay. Okay. So you can share it if you want to in the chat box, but I also think that it's good at this point, like after that first week of tracking, or once you have tracked for a week, I think you start learning lessons of your personal weight loss, right? And I've also debunked some myths about what my body needs or doesn't need, right? I learned I could have a glass of wine if I was on point all day long, and this girl is not going to lose or not going to gain weight. And that was a huge debunk, for me, because then it gave me permission to have the glass of wine and it's totally chill and fine. And it's not anything I needed to feel guilty about or anything like that. So have you guys learned anything about your own personal weight loss rules so far? Things that work or don't work for you at this point? Have you been able to kind of calculate or formulate anything at this point? Anything like that? You can either unmute and share, or you can type it in the chat box.
I know for me, when I get my water, at least half of my water in the morning, that just sets my day up so well. So I drink a whole one right when I get up. I have my Energized, I work out, and then with breakfast I drink a whole nother one. So then I just, I'm almost more than halfway done before lunch.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
The day just gets away from me, and then it's oh shoot. But
yeah, and I love in your week at a glance in your tracker, even Alana uses it as one of the examples. If you've got a busy day, it's almost I have to be on top of my water. So it's even planning that out. So yeah, I'm the same way. If I get up and start with that water, things are golden the rest of the day. It's so amazing. And you guys, yeah, look, Stacey said I can eat bread. Yes. Boom. Fist bump right there. I learned I could eat oatmeal. I went months without eating oatmeal because I love oatmeal and fruit and add peanut butter to it. I use chocolate donut seasoning. I've talked to you guys about it. And I was oh, oatmeal, it makes you bloat, makes you whatever. I had these myths, and I'm I lose weight. Actually, when I eat toast and oatmeal, I'm on track to lose weight. So yeah, I think that's so cool that we can learn those kinds of things. Try some of those foods that you thought, am I sensitive to that? Or does that bloat me? And just try it and see, because it may not be a problem. I think it's fun. Okay. Let's see. Tammy, it's only 6:30 here, so I'm making and eating my shrimp salad. Will you go right ahead? Tammy, you eat your dinner, girlfriend. I'm glad you're on. So Teresa said, I did have fast weight loss in the first few days, but now it's slowed down, but it's still coming up. Then that's amazing. I really do. That's why Alana says focus on 2 pounds at a time. because that slow weight loss, it adds up over time and it will add up to those 2 pounds. So a 0.1, a 0.2, those are all big victories, honestly, because I feel like that's like better for it to come off slower. Don't you feel like, Laura? Like,
yeah, because like I know a lot of times when people have a huge loss at the beginning, they almost lose a little confidence because they're not continuing to see that, because I mean, our body can only lose so much. So
right.
I think little losses over time is so much better. And I feel like you won't gain as quick, you know?
Yeah.
So that's my body. I have always been one to lose weight slow with anything I've done, but
I always lose the first 3 pounds and then it's like,
yeah,
it's like the slow motion that you just have. And that's the thing, is that you've got to just stay the course and know that those 0.1 or 0.2 or 0.3 pounds, like, man, that's a big deal. I mean, it really is. I mean, if we think about all the days where it's slowly crept up over time and now each day we're taking it off, like that's awesome. It's amazing. Let's see, Ryan, from Ryan's iPad, I have to use the water to fight impulse eating and cravings. Once my stomach is full of water, I don't want the cupcake. So true. Just drink the water, right? Instead. Oh, there's Victoria's kitty. Hi, kitty cat. I love it.
And Erin's going to actually talk about the 4 types of hunger, and that will kind of bring clarity to why the water is doing that. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. Tammy, you tell me about the chocolate donut seasoning, girl. Okay. I can't wait to hear about it. Oh, man. It's so good. Okay. So, yeah, let's jump into the hunger. Okay. So tonight we're going to teach you some things that we learned from Alana that we maybe aren't sure you're going to learn from her in the videos. And the thing that I'm going to talk to you guys about tonight is the 4 kinds of hunger. Because one of the turning points for me was when I felt hungry, was to stop and ask myself, Erin, why do you feel hungry? And that allowed me to make a better choice, or the right choice for my body. And so when Alana went over the 4 kinds of hunger, it was just truly an aha moment for me. And so I would maybe write these things down so they stick with you, or just listen. It doesn't matter. And at any point in time, if you guys have any questions, you just add them to the chat box and we'll get to them for sure. I mean, anything you need, anything that's on your mind. So there's 4 types of hunger. The first type of hunger is physical hunger. It's actual hunger. Okay. And that is something that happens gradually over time. And to be quite honest, I'm not sure many of us feel actual, real physical hunger. And that's my opinion. This is the type of hunger, like your body is in need of food. It hasn't had anything for hours upon hours or days. Like it's actually in a state of hunger, of famine perhaps. But that is one physical type of hunger. Okay. I remember when we were going through the program that in the first few days, I have not seen anyone do this here, which I think is crazy. And I think it's awesome. In our group, a lot of people were saying, I'm starving. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm starving. And Alana was like so ticked off at people for saying that. Remember that, Laura? She was like, how dare you say you're starving? Like, she was like, you are not starving. The people in these third world countries and this and that. It was like she got on her mom voice on. It was like, you are not starving. And I think that's what prompted her to teach us the 4 kinds of hunger, because she was like, you're not starving. That's physical hunger, and you really don't ever feel that in your life, right? Unless you're like in a state of famine. And we're like, sorry, Mom, time out. We didn't say that. And then somebody would say starving and they'd like edit their comment or something in the group because they were waiting for Alana to like go off on them. I don't know if she's done that yet in the Coach Test group. I haven't seen it, but I don't like spend a lot of time in there. So there's that type. And then there's number 2, which is totally me. Okay. Sensory hunger. Like you're at the movies and you smell the popcorn and you hear the popcorn. You're like, I need the popcorn. I got to have the popcorn. That's sensory hunger. Okay. Are you legit hungry? No, you just smell it and you hear it and it's right there in front of you. You see it. everyone else around you has it and you're supposed to eat it because you're at the movies. So you need that popcorn. So I also, the first thing I think about is like in the airports, when you when you walk past a Cinnabon place, you're like, I'm supposed to have a Cinnabon. I'm traveling. It's something I'm supposed to have. Right. Or commercials, my kids are so like, oh, I need ice cream now because I saw that Dairy Queen commercial, like that sensory kind of hunger. And it's a very sudden, impulsive kind of hunger. Like you weren't even thinking about it before you saw it or heard it or smelled it or something like that. And we have to be aware of that. Like, so, you're going to walk in the movie theater, you're going to smell it. I can smell it now just thinking about it. I'm going to hear the pop of the popcorn or whatever. And so you've got to make sure you have a plan. Like, are you going to be cool with it? Like, are you going to have the popcorn? Like, that is a choice. Are you cool with the popcorn? Is it a 10 o'clock matinee and you're like, awesome, bring it on. I can eat my carb early in the day and it's no big deal or whatever. Or are you going to stay the course and be strong and not have it? So you just have to be super aware. You also have to realize that there's so much marketing behind all of the sensory hunger that comes, like that we see in here. Like seriously. I mean, you could read book after book about the marketing of food that's supposed to like entice us and make us addicted to it, and so also the Cinnabon location in the mall or in the airport, or the Annie's Pretzel location in the mall in the airport is very, very strategic. The smells that they're wafting out to you are extremely strategic. Their colors, everything is so tied into marketing. They're trying to get you to eat it. And so your job is to recognize, no, I'm good. Like I've got my water. I've had all the food that my body needs today. I'm good to go. Or are you the girl or the man that can have just one bite and be cool with it? And that's what you need to realize too. Or are we getting one pretzel for our whole family and we're all going to split it? Cool. Like, I feel like there's solutions to the treats. That you can enjoy them and maybe not dip them in icing or add the butter on the top, and maybe share it with the family or whatnot. Can you have just one bite or two bites and be good with it? But realize there is a real sensory kind of hunger. Always drink your water first. And then number 3, there is a mind hunger, and this is different from emotional hunger. But this is where you tell yourself you should be eating. And there's programs and meal plans that I've done before where you're maybe not hungry, but you're supposed to eat, and you're supposed to eat to follow it. And I don't want to speak badly about anything, but I know some of you are like, wait, it's nighttime. It's time to eat dinner, but I'm not hungry. I'm totally cool. I feel like I need to eat something. Or it's like you're getting ready to work out and you're like, I'm supposed to eat before a workout, right? And that's your decision to make. It could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. Are you going to work out for an hour and a half? Are you going to lift super duper heavy weights? Do you need that fuel in your engine to get to the end of the workout? Or are you going to be up until midnight? So at 6 o'clock, you're like, well, I'm going to be on this call, or I've got this meeting, or I've got this project to complete. I want to have clarity and focus. So I probably should put something good in my body to have that kind of nutrition to give me energy and clarity and focus. So like there is this kind of like mind game we play with ourselves sometimes, like, well, it's lunchtime, so I'm supposed to eat, or it's snack time, so I'm supposed to eat. And I think sometimes that we can, I don't know if that's good or bad. Again, it's kind of up to you to make that decision. But I also don't think there's anything wrong with that, because sometimes I think for me, I can get really engrossed in my work and hours upon hours have gone by, and I look up and it's 2 o'clock and I haven't had anything to eat since 8 o'clock. Erin, you need to stop and you need to go get something to eat, or you're going to get to the end of the day and you're going to be ravenous, and then you're going to grab everything in sight. So there are two sides to that, but you just have to kind of be aware of it. So your mind is going to say you should eat, and you have to decide and say, am I really supposed to eat right now? Use your intuition, and say, am I supposed to eat right now? Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Well, if it's 3 o'clock and I haven't had lunch yet, I need to take a break and go eat lunch, right? I mean, because by the time 7 o'clock comes for dinner, it could be a bad situation for me. And so, or it could be 7 o'clock at night and I had a late lunch, I'm like, I'm just not hungry yet. So I'm just going to have a little small side salad. Cool. That works too, and there's no damage done. And so again, we kind of have to figure that out. And then the last kind of hunger is emotional hunger. And I think that is something that so many of us deal with. I am the worst at it when it comes to like my time of the month. That's like my worst. And I like, it's almost like after the fact, I'm like, oh, that's what that was, right? Oh, okay, right. That's why I wanted to have ice cream and wine and this and this and this and everything inside. Got it. And so tracking my period really helps me recognize emotional hunger. I actually wish it was part of our tracker, but it would probably freak some people out, right? But this is obviously very sudden and impulsive. And this is, I mean, we know what emotional hunger is. It's eating to fulfill some kind of an emotion. Whether it's good or bad. Celebrations, that's emotional eating, emotional hunger, being stressed, being anxious, but also like being excited and wanting to like treat yourself. Like I think there's both sides of that too. And so I think it's just having an awareness that there are these 4 types of hunger that will help you make a good choice and make a good decision. Am I wanting to eat right now, or do I think I need to eat right now because I'm sad or because I'm bored or because I'm freaking stressed out because my husband's been gone all day and my children are at home, and then in 2.2 seconds my house went from clean to destroyed? Like, is that why? Or is it really because it's time to eat, right? I haven't had dinner. And then so what we have to do with that though is then say, okay, Erin, why do you want the wine, or why do you want the ice cream? Why do you want that? Is it emotional? Is it my mind telling me that it's time, or what is this? And so we have to say, why am I hungry? And then you need to answer that with, well, what should I eat right now? What should I eat? Following the 2B mindset principles. And just like somebody said, I can't remember who it was, but I can scroll back. Maybe it was Tammy. I don't remember. But, if you just drink the water first, you're probably good to go. But some of the things that have really helped me is starting to create new habits in the evening, because that's kind of when I tend to, dinner and done's hard. And it's also when I tend to emotionally eat because I get tired. Maybe I get a little anxious about all the stuff that still needs to be done, or the things that didn't get done in my day, or whatever. It's a bad habit, nighttime eating. And so tea has been huge. It's like a new fun treat to find new teas. You'd be surprised. You probably like them if you don't think you do. Chewing gum. I found gum called Dessert Delight. It really makes me happy. So even when I want to I'm like, even today I had I was like, I'm really hungry this afternoon. Is it because I'm lifting weights? Should I have more protein? And I was like, stop. You've had plenty of protein. Like, just go chew some gum, and I chewed gum and I was totally fine. So it's like I had to just avoid, or give my mouth something to do, that satisfied it. But, so I try to find new ways to kind of cope with that. I've also noticed that exercise does mess with my hunger a lot. And so that is when more water means so much. And so I know, I was talking to Alicia today. I don't think Alicia's on here tonight, but Alicia's doing, the 80-day obsession. So it's a tough workout program. She's at the very end of it, or she finished it. But anyway, she's like, I feel like I'm not eating enough. And I'm like, well, why do you think that? Why? You have to ask yourself why. And she's like, well, I'm only eating three times a day. And I was used to eating more than that. I'm like, well, are you hungry? And she's like, yeah, I'm hungry. And I'm like, okay, well, here you are. Your goal is weight loss, but you're also working out for an hour a day, and you think you're hungry. Well, then you might be hungry, so then I'm like, just eat it and a little snack, mostly veggies, water first, then eat some protein after those 2 things, track it and see how things go. So that's always the response is okay, well, ask yourself why, and then start with water, then veggies, and then add a protein if you need it, because more likely than not, you may not need it. So it's just kind of something to think about. But that rule of keeping your hands on the wheel, like Alana says, is huge. I can't tell you how many times in the kitchen I'm like, hands on the wheel, you know, or I'm like, okay, I can eat the cherry tomatoes. Tonight I cut up some cucumbers and that was really good. But coffee and tea, gum, all that kind of stuff is really good for me, especially when I'm cooking or when I'm bored and things like that. Okay. So those are the 4 different kinds of hunger. So maybe that will kind of help you recognize some of those habits and reasons why you eat when you feel or think that you're hungry, when maybe actually you're not, because you're not experiencing physical hunger, you know? Okay, so then next we had, is this you? Yeah, Laura, you're going to talk next about parties and events.
Yeah. So the whole hunger thing, I really realized during the test group that I just needed more water. And that hunger was really that I was dehydrated. Mm-hmm. It was crazy. I would just drink some water. Oh, I need to show you guys this. Speaking of water, these Stur Drops, STUR, they're in the grocery store by like Crystal Light and like the Mio drops, but these are sweetened with stevia and they are so good. This one is strawberry watermelon. I also like a coconut pineapple and I just add it to my water and it's so good. So I suggest getting that, and that's really good for dinner and done as well, kind of a little treat or a treat in the afternoon. And I'll share this later, but Alana, being like the highest level of being a nutritionist dietitian, she did like some study on artificial sweeteners or any type of sweeteners, and stevia, like the pure stevia is like completely legit. So like it comes in like a dropper thing and it's a liquid, and I use that to sweeten like plain Greek yogurt. I put it in my coffee sometimes. She had a recipe that I watched on the videos where she used it as part of like a slaw dressing. But stevia doesn't have addictive properties like aspartame and whatever Splenda is made with and that sort of thing. And that's why it's like okay and actually a really good option. Because if you think about it, whatever's in Diet Coke, I mean, that's totally addictive. And then it, you know, isn't really helping you even though it's 0 calories. So anyway, get those Stur Drops. They're really, really good. Okay. One more thing, follow up on Erin with hunger. I don't know if you've gotten to this part yet in the video, but it's called DINTEO, and it stands for Do I Need This Eating Opportunity? DINTEO, DINTEO. It's further down on the video list. So when you do have those hunger signs, think about the 4 types of hunger and then think about, do I really need this eating opportunity? And that's a good thing. And I think is it on here?
The very last one. Mm-hmm.
Oh, there. Yeah, it's really small. It's the very last one. But that's always a good question to ask yourself too. And that actually goes into parties, which I'm going to talk about. So let's say you have been invited over to someone's house for like a pitch-in, some type of party, get together, neighborhood thing, work party, holiday party, whatever. Alana actually has an amazing video about it and an amazing protocol of how to be smart when you go to this party. And she has these steps. So I want to go over the steps, okay? Number 1 is, what's the purpose of the party? So let's say a holiday party with coworkers. The purpose is for you guys to get together outside of work, maybe meet each other's spouses, meet each other's family and kids, have a time to talk about things other than work, you know, laugh, share stories, right? The purpose isn't the food. Yes, the food is what enhances the party, but the purpose is to be in good company, to really get to know someone, to laugh, to tell stories, to see someone outside of work, okay? So before you go, think about what the purpose is. Number 2, if it's a pitch-in, that is the best kind of party because you can bring something you know for sure is going to be good for you. I am the queen of veggie platters. I can make the most beautiful veggie platter anyone has ever seen. I always volunteer for the veggie platter because I know that that's what I'm going to be snacking on the most. And I make a great big one, and I do all sorts of colored peppers and cucumbers and carrots and snap peas, all sorts of things. And when you bring that, you know you have an option that's going to be good for you. If it's not a pitch-in, chances are there's going to be some type of veggie tray. That's just kind of part of parties. I feel like it's kind of a staple. Okay. Number 3, if you really aren't sure though about the food and you're nervous that you just won't be able to make good choices and it isn't a time you feel like you can treat yourself, then maybe eat before the party. Have a dinner at home before you go, even if it's an early dinner, because when your stomach is full, you're not going to be as likely to make poor choices. Number 4 is dinteo. Do I need this eating opportunity? So if I'm at a party and we're filling plates and things like that, I've got my veggies most, I've got some protein, and then I see the dessert table. And you think, oh gosh, do I really need this eating opportunity? Okay, I'm going to go back to my purpose of the party. My purpose of the party is not desserts. The purpose of the party is to talk and visit with people and get to know them. So just keep that in mind. Another tip that I love is to look up, because the food is always down. But if you focus your gaze up at people, you're not going to see the food as much. Okay? That really helped me recently. We had a neighborhood get together and oh my gosh, my neighbor makes the best food. But I literally was like, okay, eyes up, eyes up. And I would say that to myself over and over. And I probably ate half as much as I normally would have eaten. Another tip, number 6, is be the last to eat. So let everyone else fill their plates up and pile it high. And then once they have filled their plates up, you go. Because they're all going to go back for seconds. And if you are one of the last ones to fill your plate up, you're still going to be eating when they go for seconds. And then everyone's done and you're going to be satisfied. So those are some awesome tips that Alana mentions for a party. Now the one bite to taste that Erin talked about, I'm not very good with that. If I have one bite, it triggers like, okay, I have to eat the whole thing, and then it triggers more and more and more and more. So knowing my body, I can't have one bite and be done. That's just me. I do better if I don't have it at all. I, go back for more veggies or go back for more water, go walk around. I can't do that. Like, it's just not me. I wish it was. But example, I went to the cake bake shop here in Indy with our neighbor for like their kid's birthday party. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to have one bite of this like cookie dough cake. No way. I ate half the thing. Like there was just no way I could just have one bite and be satisfied. That's just not me. So you have to know yourself with the one bite to taste. If I do one bite, it's literally I take a bite and my husband has to like take it away or throw it away. That's just me. So if you're good with it though, that's a great thing to do at a party. Take one bite to taste and be done. But, we talk about treat, not cheat. If you have planned out a treat, okay, so you knew this party was coming up, you were on point most of the week, you're feeling good, you've had great weight loss, and you want that glass of wine or two at the party, then this is your chance to have it. Or you want that dessert and you haven't had any in a while, then it's totally okay to enjoy that there at that party or get together or whatever. When we plan our treats, it's amazing what happens with the scale. Usually lose weight because you're not so stressed about it. You're not like regretting it. You're not beating yourself up about it. You're not stressed about it. You plan that treat out. You enjoyed it and it was amazing. And then you were done. So, when it's like party, holiday season or, especially with Memorial Day weekend coming up, you might have lots of get-togethers. Think about everything you have. Even write it out on the week at a glance. And okay, well, when we go here, I know that so-and-so is going to have this, buffalo chicken dip or whatever. I don't know. And if it just pick like one thing that you really enjoy that's totally worth you having. But don't go for the buffalo chicken dip, the cake, and then everything else. Or the bun on the hamburger. Pick one thing to treat yourself.
Can I jump in for a second?
Yeah.
I just remember, well, we did this over the holidays, and we talked about this a lot, like in our group. And I think it's good because we just had Mother's Day, Memorial Day's coming up, all those summer things are happening. And I just remember Alana saying, like, if it's not chocolate cake or if it's not homemade chocolate, whatever, no, thank you. You know, and I was like, that's true. Like, why would I eat the store-bought cake or the store-bought cookies or donuts or whatever? Like, that's not even special, right? But if it's my grandma's homemade, like, coconut cake that no one can make any longer except for my Aunt Leslie, and I only have that once a year, hell to the yes, I'm going to have the coconut cake. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. And so I came up with that rule. If it's not homemade chocolate, not touching it. Because I'll go to, like, you know, my grandma's house, and then there's this cheesecake, and she, like, puts, like, canned cherries on the top of it. And I'm like, no, it's not worth it to me, you know? And so for me, that helped, like, to create that rule for myself. Oh, was it your homemade chocolate special something, something? Okay, sign me up. And I can have a bite, because then I just give it to my husband, and he finishes it for me. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's kind of what happens. We get one piece and then boom, we're good. Something that also helped me was to be the last person. I remembered going to pitch-ins and especially, like, I was a teacher, so, you know, the PTO would do these special catered meals, and they'd make food or they'd buy food for us. And I remembered feeling guilty for not indulging in the work that someone had done to show their appreciation for me. And then I had to stop myself, because that's not true. And that was kind of that was a truth that had no facts behind it. It was like a limiting belief I was creating in my head that, like, well, it's, you know, I step week, and it's a really hard week. It's stressful. And so they put this on to make me feel better. So I better have this food. And, you know, the same thing when you go to, like, a neighborhood pitch-in or whatever, like, wow, they made their famous mac and cheese that has 45 cheeses in it. I should eat this. And then you make your plate, and you think, if I don't put it on my plate, isn't that being disrespectful? Like, isn't that me? And these are the thoughts that I would have. Like, I should put everybody something on my plate and try it. But the thing of it is no one could give a rat's ass, like, what the hell you put on your plate. And no one's looking at your plate. No one's paying attention. And if they do, and if they say, oh, didn't you get my something to try? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to get that later. White lie, who cares? You know, I mean, or, you know, oh, hey, you know, maybe I'll try that the next time, right? You could try it the next time. But I'm just saying, like, quit worrying about, like, what people think about your choices of what you're putting in your body. And also, don't be scared to stand up for yourself in making those decisions. Because I started on my health and fitness journey near the end of my teaching career. And so those last couple of years, I had nutritional knowledge and goals and had some success. So I was bound and determined to stay on track. So anytime that I knew we were having a catered lunch, I still brought my lunch to school that day. And I would go into the faculty wherever everybody else was eating, and I brought my lunch, and no one cared less. It wasn't disrespectful. Like, I was respecting myself by doing what I knew would be best for me. And it was a choice I made for myself. So I don't know, like, if that's something that you guys feel or have had those kind of, I don't know, worries or concerns. Like, what is that disrespectful? Is that rude? Is that this? I think that we always have to honor and respect ourselves first at the end of the day. And when you walk out of school or work or that party, you just have to say, how do I want to feel when I walk out of this party? Or when I go to bed, do I want to be proud of the decisions I made? And so, I don't know, those are some things to like give yourself permission to do what is best for you. And don't worry about what other people might think, because that's probably just a limiting belief.
Yeah. And another tip, like at a party that Alana mentioned is, when you're in conversation with someone, she would mention like so-and-so would come up to her and be like, aren't you going to eat that? Come on, don't you want to try that? And she'll like, yeah, I'll get some in a minute. And then you ask them questions about their life. Or if it's their home, she's like, oh my gosh, I love what you did with your pictures over there. Where did you get those frames? Like if you constantly try to keep the conversation going and asking them questions or move on to the next person, then that will help you kind of steer away too. So
be more social.
Yeah.
Have more conversations than bites of food on your plate. That has always stuck with me too.
That's good.
Okay. So what are we talking about next? We're talking about, the scale went up. So now what?
Okay. So we all know the two bunnies. I have some new people on here, so I'm just going to say them real quick. I'm so excited you're here. So water first. So before you eat anything, before you, right after you get up, water first, and then you eat veggies most, use the tracker, and then you're using the scale as a measurement. And that was really scary for some of us at the beginning, but I'm so proud of you for just embracing it, going with it, and just doing what the program is designed to do. And the scale gives us so much information about food, because when you look back at your tracker and you see, oh, look, the scale went down. That was a really good day. Those foods are really good for me. Or, oh, the scale went up. Let's look back at the tracker. So the scale isn't going to go down every single day. It's just not. And the scale goes up. And guess what? It's okay. It's totally okay. All right? The scale isn't going to go down every day. I hate to break it to you. And if it has been going down every single day, that's awesome. But there is going to come a day where you get on the scale and it's going to go up. And number one, it's okay. It's totally okay. Now, you could weigh the next day and you're back down. It was just a fluke. There's several factors that go into why you might have gained 0.2 pounds or 0.4 pounds or whatever. But if you're starting to see a trend of the scale going up, the best thing to do is to look back at your tracker. And that's why you have to fill out that tracker no matter what. Okay? So, number one thing to ask yourself is water. Were you having water first? Or were you just drinking water? So like during the test group, I was drinking a ton of water. I'm like, I'm good. I hit my goal. I'm good. But then I look back and it's like, I wasn't having water first. And I know that may not seem like a big deal, but it is. Because when you have water first before your meals, it's going to help you, number one, absorb all of that nutrition that you're putting into your body a lot quicker and a lot more effectively. And number two, you're probably not going to overeat when you have the water first. So even if you made your ounces, did you have the water first? That's why it's called water first. And then the second thing is veggies most. Same thing. In the test group, I was seeing a trend. I started to gain weight consistently. I was eating a ton of veggies. But when I was looking at my plates, it wasn't veggies most. So yeah, I had veggies for lunch, but maybe it was only 25% veggies instead of 50%. Or maybe at dinner, it was only 25% veggies and then a huge steak one night. It's still veggies, but it's not veggies most. You guys, those veggies are everything. Everything. Our body needs those veggies. They are grown on this earth for our body to have and get the nutrition from. It's what our bodies are meant to have. So that is another thing to look at. Did I have veggies most? Okay. Number three, did you try something new? Maybe you haven't had like beef in a while. I love beef, but I know that I can't have it every night. I can have it 2-3 times a week. But if I have it more than that, the scale tends to go up because it's a higher fat content. I love it though. So I'll look back at my tracker. Oh yeah, I had it like 4 or 5 times this week because we had leftover spaghetti squash casserole that had beef in it, or we had leftover taco meat that was made with beef, and I was just trying to finish the leftovers. And I just know my body. I have to work in some other types of protein. Did you go to a restaurant? Restaurants are tough, you guys. If I had a choice, I would only go out to eat during lunch. They sneak in so much butter, so much sodium, so many sauces, or there is a sauce you only think is a little bit, but it's really a lot. It's tough. Restaurants are tough. So a lot of times if we go out to dinner, I'm just going to expect a 0.2, 0.4 gain. No matter how good I do at that restaurant, there's so much hidden sodium, and that just bloats me and makes me feel really puffy. I can see it in my face and I can see it on the scale. So did you go to a restaurant? Too many treats. So we talked about like kind of scheduling out your treats. Did you go off that schedule? Did you plan on only having this, but you had more, that kind of thing? Are you on your period? Like this, seriously, this happens to everyone. Like and this might be TMI, but I have never been regular. So I never know when I'm going to have mine. Erin is like super, super regular. So she knows that week she's going to go up 2 pounds on the scale. She just knows that. And you just have to embrace it. Write it down in your tracker. It's okay, because when it's done, it's going to go right back off. It's just part of life. Stress. How has your stress been lately? Stress and sleep. If you're really stressing about work or something, that's a guarantee the scale will go up for me. Just a guarantee. So I have to start doing I do daily devotionals every day. I have my me time in the morning. I work out to relieve stress, go for a walk. So try to get into the routine of those things that help you de-stress. And I know if you're a teacher right now, that might seem impossible, but it's almost over. You can do it. But yeah, if you have never scheduled yourself some time in the morning, right when you wake up, we call it Miracle Morning actually, and there's actually a book called Miracle Morning, and it's like different things you do to get your day started right, and it helps like tremendously with stress. And part of it is like getting a devotional or some type of personal growth book. You've got your coffee, you get up before everyone else in your house, so you have quiet time. I would highly recommend that. Just set your alarm 20, 30 minutes earlier, which might be early, but it's totally worth getting up that early. And did you eat dinner later that night? So the other night, my in-laws were in town and we went to dinner at like 7 or 7:30. That is way too late for me. The scale went up. I have to be done by about 6:30. That is like the perfect time for me to be done eating and having dinner. So if you're a late eater and you're having trouble seeing loss on the scale, maybe it's that. Maybe you should move your dinner up earlier, because when our body actually has time to digest everything, we're not adding anything else to our body. That is perfect for weight loss. And then are you dinner and done? Or are you coming back to the kitchen after dinner to sneak in some snacks? Do whatever you have to do. Go upstairs, go to your bedroom, go outside, whatever you have to do to not go in that kitchen. I always tell my kids, nope, kitchen's closed after dinner. No more snacks. You didn't eat enough dinner then, so tomorrow you'll eat a really big breakfast. But yeah, those are some things to ask yourself if the scale went up. Any questions about the scale or anything you're confused about? Yes, Tammy, menopause too. My mom is going through that too. Less than 6 hours, I gain weight of sleep. Erin said if she sleeps less than 6 hours, she gains. That's so true. And you can't be perfect. There's some nights where you really only will get 6 hours of sleep, but you just expect, okay, the scale went up. That's okay. It's going to go back down tomorrow. So, but if you have any questions about the scale, I'd be happy to answer it.
I feel like too, there's like this, I've always noticed this too. It's like there's this, things are going well and then they slow down and then they pick up and then they slow down. Like I've always noticed that trend with me too. So I don't know. I feel like our body is always going through a transition, and it's trying to figure out what to do with this good nutrition. If it's been a while since you've been really good with your nutrition, you may experience some of those ebbs and flows. And we will always remind you of this. The greatest successes have come from our test group members like 3 and 4 months into this, because it takes time, to really figure out your exact rules. I wanted to shout out Shonda, who's using Spiralizer right now, like on the call.
Spiralizer.
She's like rocking that Spiralizer, making some zoodles or whatever. It's so freaking cool.
If you don't have one, you've got to get one.
Yeah, you got to get one. Like it's a game changer, because it's too expensive to like buy spiralized zucchini. It's ridiculous.
And newsflash, Noodles and Company, you can get anything with zoodles now.
I know, that is the coolest thing ever. You just need to ask them how they make them. Do they steam them or saute them in butter, right? You got to ask a lot of questions.
Yes,
who knows? Okay, so we're going to end this call, you guys. Okay, and I just want to get my mom teacher voice on you. And Laura brought up the term yesterday, and she's like, don't be a tracker slacker. Okay. For me, tracking was really annoying, and it still is something that I struggle with. But I also know that it's the greatest tool that we have in finding this freedom. If we want to find our freedom, we've got to collect the data so we can make the right decisions. So I can realize that I can eat oatmeal every day, that I can eat toast, that I can have a glass of wine. Like, that's the secret to food freedom. And you find your own path to food freedom. And that comes from tracking. Some of you are already finding out those things, and it's like the coolest thing ever. And so, but it is essential to track even on the bad days. Because we went out last night for dinner, and I had Mexican and I had a margarita, and today I almost didn't step on the scale because I was like, oh, I know it's going to be so high. But I did, and it was only 0.2 higher. And I was like, oh my gosh, what was I nervous about that? So it removed fear, it removed doubt. It gave me freedom to say, okay, but I also made choices while we were out that were way better, And so I'm like, okay, I've got to remember that the next time I go, because I can say, sure, let's go out for Mexican, that kind of thing. So don't be a tracker slacker. All right. And so what else did I want to say? We're going to have one more call next Wednesday, 8:30 p.m., same time, same place. We'll send a Zoom link, that kind of thing. And but we need you to engage and to ask questions and everything like that. And moving forward, just so you guys know, like, well, what's happening here. So moving forward, you will always be on the 2B mindset journey with your coach, always. Okay, like that's never going to stop. So this group will become a graduate group after we all go through it. But Laura and I and your coach may be. Okay, so a lot of you guys, Laura and Shannon and I are not your coaches. And so your coach will be taking a new group of people through the 2B mindset. They may already be doing that now, but like Laura, Shannon, and I, starting June 4th, are going to take a new group of people through the 2B mindset. So you have an option to kind of start over and do it again if you want to with us, or you will be able to stay here in our success group and just keep rocking and rolling. So you're never going to be taken out of here, removed from here, whatever. You can remove yourself at any point in time. But I mean, but we're going to keep going. We're going to keep showing up, so this isn't going to end. We may continue to have group calls, but as of right now on the schedule, we've got one more next week. Laura's getting ready to go through a major move. And so she's going to need a little bit of freedom and flexibility. But I mean, I think it's also a really amazing example that this has been really easy for Laura to show up, even though her life is completely crazy town. Like, she's moving across many states and packing up her house and moving themselves, that's huge, where a lot of people will be like, it's not a good time for me right now. Sorry. I'm moving. No, she's like, let me lead by example. So I think that's really amazing. Laura, you're proving a lot to us. If Laura can do it, we can do it. I just had a mom join us today who has 5 children. She just had her 5th baby. And I'm like, you are going to be my inspiration. So yeah. Oh, Luania, I can't have cauliflower. I gained the 2 days that I ate it. It's good to know. Right. And she also asked about varying your veggies. I always think variation is good for nutrition purposes, because different foods give us different types of nutrition. And also the more you can vary it, I think the less bored you're going to get. I eat the same kinds of foods like for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks for the most part, or breakfast, lunch, and snacks, but I vary things up for dinner. So, I mean, if you eat carrots every single day, I don't know. I mean, I just think after a while you're going to be really sick of those carrots, you know? So I think trying to vary your veggie is good. I also think varying your protein is good because like Laura said, you're going to find out that a lot of ground beef is going to probably make you gain weight because it's so much higher in fat than pork or fish, you know? So I think you just have to play with things a little bit, but variation is always good. Yeah, it could. I think, Laura, said that happened to you too with cauliflower.
Yeah, like broccoli, cauliflower. I just felt bloated all the time in the beginning of the group. But my body did just kind of even it out, and I was fine in the long run. So, and I don't think you have to if you like it, Luana, I mean, you just maybe not have it every day, but once, twice a week is fine. I think your body will eventually be okay with it.
I think so too. Keep trying, stay the course. It's a really good veggie. Man, it's good. Who would have thought?
Oh, if you freeze your cauliflower, you can use that as the ice in your Shakeology. That's what Alana does.
She puts frozen cauliflower in her Shakeology.
Yeah, so like the riced cauliflower you buy that's already chopped up, you put that in the freezer. And
that's pushing it to me.
Take out some instead of ice. It adds a ton more fiber, and she says it tastes amazing. Look at her IG stories. She does it every day.
I don't know, y'all. I mean, I put a cup of spinach in mine, and I think it tastes, and you can't taste that. So I'm just going to stick with my spinach, okay? I can't even
that out there.
Okay, maybe one day we'll take some cauliflower rice challenge or something, right? Yeah. Okay, and we'll all try it, and we'll do that. We'll do that later. We'll try that next time.
Sounds good.
Next time, Laura. I'm gonna keep my eyes up. I'm just gonna so tell me about your mood. You doing okay? I mean, no, I'm kidding. I'm changing the conversation. All right. Okay, you guys, anybody have any other questions for the good of the order before we call it a night? You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here.
Yes, thank you. The more you show up, the better results.
Yes, Shonda's still making her zoodles. She's going to make a bunch of zoodles tonight. You keep doing that, rocking and rolling. Okay, awesome. All right, you guys. Well, we will